is rich in protein, rich in O2. Function is a carry of O2 many. So red fiber is normally just like a player getting strong, very strong. But his movement kind of slow. Opposite with the white muscle fiber is many just like a fast, explosive, and then not too much endurance. So normally coach must be can see 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If I see the player here, must know what kind of type of the muscle type. So normally is we have just in laboratorium get to know about the muscle fiber here. But normally this is take time and then take not efficient. So experienced coach must be understand when they see, just only see 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then can see, oh, this player can be more red muscle fiber or white muscle fiber. So it's a red fiber muscle is walking slow, but can stand, endurance can stand long, strong. So moving should be get slow. So, and then the white muscle fiber is walking fast and like an explosive power. So that's why just like a sprinter, just like a 100 and 200 and 400, they said need white muscle fiber is many. But just like a marathon player, just like a long distance something here, this inside there's many red fiber muscle. So in here, coach must be understand if a player like this here, so we can training also have a little bit different. Just how can we training just like a red fiber? Yeah. Intensity of training must be more than 30 minutes. And then frequency of training must be many. And focus to endurance. But the white fiber muscle intensity training not more than 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Only this. Because if long, he cannot stand. And then frequency of training not too much. And then focus in speed. So that's why if our player have a man just slow and then very strong something here, and opposite, he get after training or something, he had many training for speed and then training for fast and then training for just like explosive power many. But if our player is just like a white muscle, he's running very fast, moving very fast, and then many explosive power or something here. And try after training something, get like an individual training, focus to endurance, focus to stamina or something. So and then takes like this here, take balance. So here also just like what is called just like a hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is meant as a standard O2 in blood. So just like a kid must be just like 11 or 13. And then like senior player, it would be 14 or 8. If not like 14 or 18 here, it must be just like something. So this call is what is called is anemia. Is so standard hemoglobin is low. A player like this here easy to tired. So something that here. So some player just like I get the example just like Taufik Hidayat is his hometown when a young when young, he's living in the mountain. So take oxygen just a little. So that's why he's very strong in body. Also, his village if produce many milk of cow. So normally we live in the town. Some if we buy some milk, not pure. Some with the mixed with the water or something here. So make everyone make profit or something. But in mountain, just like a topic, it drinks every morning and every night before sleep something. It's a pure from cow. So mix. That's why topic all body is very strong. Just like a what call it in South America with a dataran tinggi, high ground, something. What is country? Venezuela, Guatemala, like a mountain something. When like a World Cup, when a player from Argentina or Brazil here play in the player from Argentina or Brazil here very easy to tire because it's a tournament is in the stadium in the mountain something. This is different when you from high mountain something here make oxygen in the blood or something, and then here many O2. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just make simple from the can explain. So that's why it's normally it's a muscle red fiber is a player is just like a marathon, and then you know the cycling, canoe, and then swimmer. This is, but it's a player many wide muscle fiber or fast twitch fiber is just like a sprinter, jumper, and then weightlifter, because just like a middle distance player, runner, ice hockey, something need more explosive. So badminton is with both of two it. So if our player is just like many red muscle fiber, it means this player especially must be strong. But in here, he less explosive, he less and fast, cannot move fast. But if player is a wide muscle fiber or fast fiber, it's a his many explosive and then many fast, but less endurance. So he cannot play stay long. So how can combine our training, our player here like this year, how is program is depend on the coach something. So it's just like this. So coach must be have imagination. How become our player? How become how standard he play? How type of he play? And then how he can play until become a high standard or not? So coach must be have imagine. So just like this, it's just like you know, it's a cook, chef, like if he cook, if just cook, no recipe, but have a no taste. But if have a make recipe, have a taste, have a feeling something here. This cooker is this cook must be different. Something like that here. So as a coach must be can imagine the result of the end or result of the final of the player here. If not, the result must be not cannot be maximal. At this I talk about Descenddent. So that's why in here also coach and parent must be have connected. Why? Because his parent must be knows about this player from this born. So that's why coach must be have connected with his parent, talking about, asking about, and then about everything about this player here. This is for coaches more fast to make program, too fast to more understand about player. So that's why here coach with this player parent must be have a good relationship. I think it's enough for explain. I'm sorry my English. So I hope Coach Kopi can be more explain. After this we can enjoy. Sorry, we can continue with the environment. Okay.
I think for all of us, Agus coach has spoken about few things which are very, very important. First, I think as coaches, we do not have so much of control on the selection of players who come to us. For majority of us, it's not that we choose all the players who come to us. We almost have about 600, 700 coaches in the program. I'm sure that each one of us don't have this kind of control on each of us, each of the programs. Having said that, I think it's very, very important to note that, am I audible? Yeah, okay. It's very important that the genetics of a player is something which plays a major role. And for all of us as coaches, and we've heard the signs about the slow twitch fibers and the fast twitch fibers. As a badminton player, it is very important that we have an understanding of what the player is, whether he has more fast twitch fibers or less fast twitch fibers, or more slow twitch or less slow twitch, so that as coaches, we can actually give them a program. This comes at the next level. The first thing is, when they're young, you need to develop or try to make sure that we work as much as possible on their speed, agility, flexibility, and their skill. This is the first step. As they grow older, and we can actually look what are the areas where the problem is. In badminton, as this game tends to go on for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half at the senior most level, it's very, very important that both the fast twitch and the slow twitch are developed. It's fundamental to have fast twitch fibers because by nature the sport is very explosive and fast, but it's also important the players have a good amount of endurance, because that is where we'll get the longevity or the endurance part of it. And I think it's important and pertinent to mention that we have only a small window of opportunity to be better, because as spoken and said earlier, speed has only a 10% chance of improvement, strength has about 30% chances of improvement. So naturally strong players who have an opening balance which is good have an advantage in general. A person without any kind of training is able to do 10 push-ups on day one, and somebody who is not able to do any push-ups on day one, that person who is able to do 10 has an opening balance which is high, and he definitely will benefit from it. So it's very, very important. So what are the things which really help, and how is the intensity of the training? Any training which happens about 15 minutes with shorter frequencies of time moves yourself to build more of slow twitch fibers. Anything which is 30 minutes and over gets that. And if you need to really do fast twitch fiber training, then it's very important that the intensity is high. Now, with young athletes, I think 6 seconds is the rule. So don't make them run 100-meter sprints, but think of the entire speed training should be within the 6-second zone. So your sprints could be, say, 30 meters at max, but really a lot of exercises should be quick with enough rest, and you can do a lot more repetitions as much as the kids can withstand. Having said that, endurance is also the same. VO2 max has a opening balance, which is very important. If you're born in the mountains, if you have genes and genetics which are strong, then you have an advantage and an opening balance which helps you. So Agus coach gave the example of Tawfiq Hidayat, who was in early childhood in the mountains, and that really helped. Basically, it's not only your stay, but your parents and grandparents, if they say over time, when you do it, then it really helps. High altitude helps. So in the first stage of high altitude, the lungs are affected. The second stage, the blood gets affected. And the third stage is the genetics get affected. So if your lungs are affected by, say, a 3-month training, it will only last 3 days or so. If you are there for much longer period of time, then it will probably last you a year, year and a half. But if your parents and grandparents have been living there, it's part of your genes, then it continues to you for a lifetime. So I think these are important things to remember. And Agus coach also mentioned the quality of food. And I think the next subject would be to take care of the environment. So over to you, Agus coach, after this.
Okay, thank you, Coach Kopi. So some of explain is very, very nice. So now we go to the second subject. This is environment. Long time ago, thinking about the sport is depend of the just like a race, and then anatomy of the race, just like you know, black people with the white people, also Caucasus people, just like a yellow people, something here. Just like a black race is good in running, and then white race is about and yellow race is dominate in the swimmer and sorry, just like that, yeah, something. But after the Olympic Sydney, yeah, this Anthony Irvin from USA, I forgot. This the black people, yeah, can be champion and gold medal in the 50-meter in the swimmer. So not just only the race, and not just about they came from. Now just if you have talent, if you have something special, and then all support, coach support, country support, everything support here something, here can be a champion. And then in Olympic Rio Olympic, it's the black race from USA is have a freestyle 100 meter, also can be champion. Normally as a swimmer just only have a champion from the white race, just like a European, Australian, or USA something, but not about the black people. And then you know in Olympic Athens, gold medal in the 110 what is lari gawangnya? 110 sprint, not 100. Yeah, it's from Chinese. Lu Xiang can be champion. So now, so that's why now it's about environment. So some sociolog professor from University of the Northern Kentucky is agree that the location, geographies, and then financial resort, and then influence, parent influence, also as a have friends, also as a role model. Yeah, this is get influence of the player of the in the sport. So in here, more significant if involved of the factor genetic. So that's why now is we talk about the badminton. That's why now just like Spain, you know, is Spain is a country without a history of the badminton. But now Spain have a world champion and then Olympic champion from Spain. Why? Because Carolina Marin have a talent, have a, you know, we have everything here, and then support by have a good coach, and then support by his country, and then support by, you know, as a location, friend, a parent also here, and then everything here. So not just from country from strong badminton also now. Every country can if we have a talent like this here. So in here also I heard something in many just like you know, with a Sindhu with his father with a combination of the good. It's a family something here. Oh, this is very good. So his father can control how his daughter how's the training, how's go outside to here, when happy, when must be rest, when how is food something here. This can handle. Sorry. So this is about environment. Why this environment so important? So like this, just like for example, if your player is a talented player, but he have friend not good, he has a friend get influenced about the going out, date night, something, sleep at night, something here and here, so make disturb our player something. The condition must be not good because now is you know, when we have a produce of the world player, world standard player, he can be not, must be 100%. All resort, all thinking, all everything here must be thinking about our player like this or something. Because now is a, you know, is a competitive of the world or something. Very tough, very quality, and then very hard something. So that's why in the environment here, I think it's very important. I just try to explain simple. Maybe Coach Kopi can be help, so we can move to session number 3 about mentality. This is so many also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, August Coach. As I mentioned earlier, I think the environment, the genetics is one. The second thing which would be critical for development is the environment. We can call it culture, we can call it environment, we can call it upbringing. That's something which is very important. Traditional big nations in the world who have been producing badminton champions for many years, whether it's China, Indonesia, Korea, Malaysia, have not been the only ones who've been producing players. We've had an influx of champions coming from countries like Chinese Taipei, from Spain, from India, from Thailand, who have actually done very well. And this is testimony to the fact that badminton as a sport is something which actually helps and which can be adopted by various people and cultures. And this diversity of champions, what we are seeing now, is something which is amazing. From USA, we have Bang Ziwen, we've got Michelle Lee from Canada, we've got Spain, we've got Denmark, we've got Thailand, Ratchanok, and the whole girls teams. We've got Hong Kong players, we've got India, we've got Chinese Taipei. These are not traditional badminton players, but we've kind of managed to move ahead. And Japan is one of the big nations in that front. So it is very important that if you know what you're doing, if your structure is good, if your planning is good, and if you're able to instill a sense of discipline into the system, we will be able to produce results. So I think that is very, very critical. I think as a country, we can do very well. As coaches, if you look at the 90s and the 2000s, before that, we never had very good world level women's players, because typically the tendency was to believe that Indians were not good or women were not strong enough. But today with Saina, with Sindhu, I think it's something which we are able to manage over the last 20 years. The same as with the doubles. We've been kind of for the longest period of time said that we will not be very good doubles players. But when we look at players today, in the last 10 years, we've had Jwala and Ashwini, we've got Biju, we've got Sanil Rupesh, we've got players today like Chirag and Satvik and Arjun, who are really world class. And we do have good quality players coming up in our doubles, Sikki, we've got Pranav. So we have talent coming up. So it takes time, but it's important that to build a culture is something which is very, very critical. So for all of us, these are things. Now I'll just put this in perspective. हमारे पास बहुत सारे लोग बच्चों के साथ काम करते हैं और ऐसे प्लेयर्स के साथ काम करते हैं जिनके पास शायद टैलेंट नहीं होगा या मूवमेंट नहीं होगा या फैसिलिटी नहीं होगा कि वो आगे जा सके. बहुत सारे लोग हमारे पास ऐसे होंगे. अगर हम विश्व स्तर की बैडमिंटन की बात करेंगे, हम गलत बात कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि उस स्तर का जो ट्रेनिंग होना है या खाना होना है या फैसिलिटी होना है, वो हमारे बहुत सारे लोग के पास नहीं है. तो ये मान के चलना चाहिए कि हमें जो बच्चा हमारे पास खेलने के लिए आता है, उसको मैं कैसे बेहतर बनाऊं, इस पे हम ध्यान देंगे तो बेहतर होगा. हालांकि हम ये बात पे चलेंगे कि ये वर्ल्ड लेवल पहुंचेगा या नहीं, ये करेंगे तो हम बहुत निराश होंगे. हमारे पास अगर जो बच्चा आता है उसका मैक्सिमम हम टैलेंट उसको बढ़ोतरी देते हैं तो अच्छा है. और अगर उसके पास विश्व स्तर का चैंपियन बनने की क्षमता है तो हमें ये जरूरी है कि उस बच्चे को हम ऊपर तक ले जाने की कोशिश करें. तो ये दो चीज हम बहुत ध्यान से देना चाहिए. As coaches, we may not have the facility, the genetics of the players, nor the knowledge and understanding to take them to the highest level. That doesn't mean that we should be disheartened about it. So we should not get under the impression that this whole clinic, what coaches are talking is about, you're giving examples of say a Tawfiq or a Hendrawan, or you're seeing people like say Kento Momoto and Carolina Mari. If that is what we are talking, then I think we would be actually missing the point. So it's very important that we get back in this and create an environment which is friendly. So I again go back to the ethics of, and I go back to my coaches. Grassroots level coach को ये करना चाहिए कि उसके बच्चों को रोज खुशी खुशी बैडमिंटन कोर्ट में आए और वापस जाए अच्छे मेमोरीज के साथ. ये एक फंडामेंटल चीज है इफ यू आर ए ग्रास रूट लेवल कोच. Coaches, and I am repeating things in English and Hindi because I can see messages saying do it in both languages. So I'm saying when you have a kid coming in, ensure that he comes, learns things and goes back. And that is very, very important. That's one fundamental issue. When he needs to be disciplined, when he needs to be focused, when he needs to have role models, when he needs to be all that, That's the next stage when we should do. The second important thing is that players, and we've all learned, and I have had my coach Hamid Hussain sir, he never really taught me the basic stands, grip aisa pakarna hai, drop aisa karna hai, smashes. He never taught me those things, but he taught me how to love the sport, and that won half the battle. But the other important thing is we learned a lot of things by watching and imitating and learning. As coaches, we have to encourage kids that they love the sport so much that they are watching, they are trying, they are imitating, and they're learning. And that is very important process of learning. So in our environment of coaches, it's very important that we actually get that culture of learning into the system. So that is what we call environment, and we need to have a positive environment, and it helps to have parents who understand the sport, but also understand so that they don't interfere too much and actually bring a downfall in the players' lives. So we need to be understanding in how we manage this. So that's something which is also very important. And I think for all of us, we can talk world level badminton, but at the end of the day, it's important that where we are working, how to do the best of what we can do is something which I want you all to focus on. Over to you, August Coach.
Okay, yeah, I agree with Coach Kopi. Thank you. Now we go to the mentality. So, what is mentally? What will be trained? And then, what's the purpose? So, I have a two. What is purpose? So that more focus, more concentration, reduce our tension. So that more strong in mind. Number two, more confident. Number three, more able to control or more able to master ourselves. And then more able to overcome all circumstances, all situations and difficulties. So that's why in here have a say. You know, it's like a teenager or junior player need skill 80%, but mental only 20%. So and then compares about the senior player, technique only 20%, but mental could be 80 or 90%. So that's why very important about the senior player and about the mentality. So I repeat again about the teenager and start junior. It's just only 80% skill, mental only 20%. And then senior player or last junior player, 80% is about 80% and 90% is about mental. Skill just only 20%. So that's why mental is about you're not easy to disturb. You can be more focused. Just like you know the story about Sergei Bubka. He's a world champion of pole jump, and then world champion from USA. I forgot the name. Is a high jump. Also, he just focused in the match. Only focus how to cross the line. Yeah, only focus just how cross the line. Not everything has a strategy. Yeah, everything is about many audience, many referee, circumstance. So all here must be controlled. But his focus and he's just only focus only how to cross the line. So mentality is about mental is invisible but can be seen. So that's why if we're talking about mental to our player, must be careful. Not just only one tournament and then one match, and then we say because he's afraid or something, we can say you mental no good. Oh, cannot like this here. Mentality so can be after long period, after long training here. So we can put our player in what kind of standard of mentality. So now as I uh, have a sharing about the mental, this is not about psychology says or something. It's too complicated. So I'm sharing about my experience. I have learned, I have watch about the mentality. So as a number one, mentality is about if our player of experience, not too much tournament. So just like a poor of a lack of match or something. Our player have a in 1 year maybe a tournament only one or two something. Just like this year, we cannot say mental no good. Mentally must be no good because not too much tournament. Number two, afraid of all difficulties in the match. Just like afraid about with the light, afraid with the service judge, afraid with the linesman, afraid about the wind, light or something here. Nah, so like this here is he cannot focus. He's also mental no good. So player in here is I call it afraid about difficulties in the match. Number three, not easy to concentrate. Not easy to concentrate. It's mean like easy to disturb. Yeah. So easy broke his mind something. So cannot be focused something. Here also make mental not good something here. Number four is a fear about opponent, afraid about opponent. Now in here also have a three. If our player meet a top player, high standard player, our player have afraid. Our player have a nervous something. Nah, number two, if our player meet equal player, same with us. So some player have afraid, some player have nervous. Number three, oh, sorry, number three, if our player meet the low standard player of low player something, some player enjoy, some player afraid. So which category our player to put in? So number four is afraid, a fear with opponent, have three. If we meet high player, if we meet equal player, if we meet low player. So in here, our player must be honest with the coach. If not honest, nah, we cannot solve this problem. So if he honest and everything is okay, just like if we are sick, the cure must be right. If you're not honest, the doctor also just confused. So make medicine also confused also, just like that. And then number five, fear of competition. Like this year, fear of the match or fear of fighting or something here. If every tournament he's fear, every tournament he's nervous. Even if he's many experience, still like this year. This is number five. Number six, too much thinking about profit and loss. Too much thinking about personal interest. So just like this, so player like this is normally is not stable. Player like this here, every time like this here, every time hesitates. Forever doubtful. you're unstable. Yeah, like this. Sorry, my English something. So player like this here, many in the world, so many. But in the end, he cannot become world player. He cannot become a standard player. So I repeat again. Number one is a lack of experience, not too much tournament. Number two, afraid about difficulties in tournament, just like live audience and then service charge or something. Yeah, and then situation, and then not easy to concentrate, easy to disturb, easy to broke his mind, something. And then number four is afraid of or fear about with opponent. Fear about opponent have three. If he meet the high standard player or high player, and then if he meet equal player or if he meet low standard player. Nah, number five, fear about competition. Number six, too much thinking about profit and loss. Too much thinking about personal interest. So number four, the top and the four here can be trained. Yeah, depend on the player. He want to change fast or not, and then he want more sacrifice or not. But number two in the low, in the low is a fear of competition, and then too much thinking about profit and loss, too much thinking about personal interest or something here. This is very difficult. If what can I say? Just like if your body have a cancer, this is no cure. If you player like this year, if the beginning, if you like this year like something here, if many tournament is still like this year, it's better don't play badminton. Better go to school or business or something here. Because if you go to the badminton, it's cannot difficult. Just waste your time. Okay, number six is about too much thinking about profit and loss, thinking about personal interest. It's all about from our mind. It's about our ego. So that's why player must be honest with the coach. So in here also in training, mental program must be must be still carry in whatever training. Even you training is a technique, if you training about the physical, if you training in game or something, mental program training must be continue. This is something about you cannot we cannot cut. Yeah. So this is about you must be if training strategy of training game is training here something, mental must be put inside. This is how the clever depend on the clever of the coach or something here. So just like a player have a motivation or not or something here. Just like you know, it's a mental is about focus, not easy to disturb. It's about motivation. Just like this here. If people, a human, not eat in 40 days, he die. But if a human or people not drink in 4 days, he die. So if people not eat in 40 days, but if not drink, not a liquid inside, so in only 4 days he can be die. But if human or our player don't have a motivation, in 4 minutes just like a die, just like a zombie or something. So that's why it's important about focus. It's important about motivation because motivation just remind the player if he tired, if he desperate, if he just like a blank or something, he cannot just like putus asa ya, putus asa, putus asa, just like a desperate. desperate or something here. He still remember his motivation. He still remember what is purpose or something here, something like that here. So that's why, as what can I say, like this here, physical and technique. This is just only help, but good mentality can support this athlete. So what is what I'm saying? What is everyone calls this player have a good mental? What is good mental? Is it? Is good mental is my side is a tournament more important, tournament more precious. Yeah. And then this tournament you cannot lose. And tournament you bring your color, you bring your flag. Like in here, just like a Olympic. Why Olympic so important? Because Olympic is 4 years only one time. Everyone won champion. Everyone play with the flag. Everyone play with the color of the flag. Something here. So in here, mental must be good. So tournament more important. This tournament is you cannot lose. Like a Thomas Cup, Uber Cup, something here. Nah, this is you feel like this is what I'm looking for. This is I'm happy. This is where I belong. Nah, if player can feel like this here, this is good mental. Nah, I think it's I'm talking about mental like this year. So we're talking about mental must be careful. After long period, after many tournament, and then player must be honest with the coach. So coach can be give medicine in the right way. If he's not honest, he's still fooling around, something like this year, something not honest, something here, something. Maybe next tournament, next match is something same problem, the same situation. Maybe he can mengalami apa? Dia bisa mengalami. Maybe he can face it again. Nah, but if he honest and then the coach maybe have a direction and then coach have a good medicine and then good program or something. Maybe in next tournament maybe still mistake but a little, not just only same problem get same problem with again and again and again something like that. I think it's enough for me for about mentality. So, oh sorry. Also, for young player, what the proportion about we give it to the player, young player? We cannot just give it only 100% training mental or something here. For young player is too heavy. Make it give it 60%. Difficulties only 60% that he can handle. In 40%, we ready our player lose. Take a look how the situation in 40% here, our player can be managed, can be out of the situation, and can be handle this difficulties or can be handle this situation here like this year. So young player don't straight too much. 60% is enough, but 60% here, 40%. We coach is ready to lose and then watch it. How can he fighting? How he can be find the way or something here. Nah, I think it's enough for me. I think it's I hope Coach Kopi can be more explain or something. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, August, Coach. I think you've been very clear. I don't know if I need to really repeat all of that, but I just go through it quickly because we also have strategy today. I think might be less time for doing all of that. So I'll go through this one part. I think August Coach is very well managed to convey what it's saying. Very, very relevant points. I think when we look at players, especially at the top level, you see these problems very, very evident. State level, district level, you understand. First thing is lack of experience. I think this is a problem which is okay. Sometimes people feel afraid, but as they play 2, 3, 4 tournaments, they start feeling better and then they get better. So lack of experience in tournaments is something which is a problem for some players. Some players might get an experience in a few tournaments. Some players might get an experience in a few more tournaments, which is okay. Till the time they're improving, you understand that the players are on the right job. So one thing, sometimes when you have tournaments after many months, people tend to forget or gain experience from what they have done in the past tournament. So that is something which is important for all of us to see, that 1, 2, 3 tournaments, the tournament, the training after the tournament, and the feedback in the next tournament. I think these are improvements which we need to keep looking for as far as players are concerned. The second thing is afraid of all difficulties in a match. हम देखे होंगे प्लेयर्स को कि सर लाइट गिर रहा है आंख में, फिसल रहा है, एम्पायर चीटिंग किया है. So these are things which typically some players will always have. So I think that's something which is important for us to take care of. The third is they have no concentration. Few things here and there, 1 point here and there, and they lose focus. That's something which is another problem. Fear about opponent. If they play a senior player, maybe they're okay, I can play well. But if they play a junior player or a player who's equal, they have a problem. And they start to freeze on court. So that is something which is also we see. Fear of competition. Every time they want to go for a competition, somebody gets a cold, cough, sick, fever. These things also might happen. So fear of generic competition is something. And also another plague kind of thing, which is a bad thing for players, is every time they play a tournament, if you ask them to play a match, mujhe kya milega? I think profit and loss for themselves, and what do I get at the end of it? And this is something which is really big, because even at the highest level, we see some players actually get those things where they're saying, sir, mujhe kya milega jeet ke? Commonwealth जीत के मुझे क्या मिलेगा, या ये टूर्नामेंट में प्राइज मनी नहीं है, नेशनल्स क्यों खेले हम, पैसे नहीं मिलते हमको, क्या फायदा है. So that is the kind of thinking a lot of top players also have. I think that's something which is also a very sad, but a reality which is unfortunate. So I think people who have profit and loss as their sole motive and not sport as the sole motive will suffer at some point of time. That's something which I have seen. I think the third thing is people who complain about this probably is important, because people who complain, sir, bore ho raha hai, sir, wahi training ho raha hai, same running. I think that is also a problem which we have to face. So people who feel the need for new things. 3 days they eat in a cafeteria, on the fourth day, sir, wahi khana, sir, wahi training. I think boredom is something which is also a mental attitude. I think people who continuously train, even by doing the same thing every day with a cheering face, whom we love to coach, those are people who are good mental attitude players. Now, the other ones are who is motivated. To get up in the morning, you need motivation. कुछ करने की इच्छा हो तो ही उठाएंगे. So those kind of people who feel motivated, I think that's an important aspect which I think we should all focus on. Now, what are the things which actually are able to make this possible? One is genetics. Some people are born motivated, who love challenges, who are okay with loss, and who don't care too much about many other things, and they will go out and play in a match. So one element is genetics. One other element is the environment which they bring out. So people who typically have a troubled home, or people who find every problem a big problem, or people who are extra protected all the time, I think these are ones who we should be on the lookout for. Then how do we ensure that these kind of problems are overcome? I think from our part, we have to keep challenging the players every time. ट्रेनिंग होगा तो भी चैलेंज होना चाहिए, मैच खेलेंगे तो भी टारगेट होना चाहिए, और कंटिन्यूअसली दे हैव टू बी इन एन अनकंफर्टेबल जोन, एंड दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट for all of our coaches. And Agus coach rightly said, just 60% of the time it has to be tough. Agar 100% of the time if it's tough, then players will crack. So you don't want that. 60% give a hard task, relax, fun. Hard task, relax, fun. So let keep pushing them little bit, and then over time they will be better. This is something which is very important for us to understand. So I think great points by Agus coach. I think it's fantastic whatever from his experience of so many years, whatever Agus coach has said is really worth it. And thank you, Agus coach, for the wonderful session. Over to you, Agus coach.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Gopi. Just only 4 minutes. Maybe I just continue a little bit about mentality. So it's why give it young player only 60%? Because if we give it 100% all the time here, young player cannot stand about the mental. He's stressed and he hears something. Yeah, maybe he want to stop badminton or something. And then in running the program, we're talking about mental. Coach must focus on the athlete have a weakness. So what the weakness here? Continue. We focus on that here, suppose, and then get the burden of the have a burden. Then if just like this here, if our player have training cannot hold in match 100%, he cannot hold also. If he in this training he can pass, so he go into the tournament just like a party or something. So that's why it's important about the mentality training or something. And then I'm more a little bit talking about profit and loss player. A player too much thinking about profit and loss, thinking about no about what is it called? Personal interest, just like this. If we training, our player have a program like this, and then he thinks it's too heavy, and then your player just try to ask the coach, coach, if I doing 80% is okay. If I doing like this, it's okay. Like this, like. If he thinking like that here, it's what I mean is thinking about profit and loss. So his mind not control his body, but his body control his mind. Now player like this, maybe difficult. Just like a doctor said, it's a cancer. So no cure, something like that. Yeah. Many player in the world, many good talent player, but at least because if you go to tournament, it's just like a life or death. So if a player have pressure like this here, the thinking is going not healthy. If I lose, I say injury here, injury here, injury here. So like this here, many player like this here. So is he call is a cancer. It's better stop badminton something. So maybe the last of the strategy I think is Coach Gopi is about continue about tomorrow. Thank you. Hello. Yeah.
Okay. I think thank you, Agus coach. I think for all of you, I think we've had a great session today, and wish you all a good day and all the best. Bhaskar,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Bhaskar, and thank you, Sai team.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gopishan sir, Agu sir. Thank you, Namresh sir. Thank you so much. Now all participants, please give your attendance in chat box. I'm requesting all Sai coaches, please start giving your attendance in chat box.
Yeah, thank you. Tolong ra.
All Sai coaches, please give your attendance with your name, designation, and center. Please, those who gave the attendance, you can leave. Requesting all, please give your attendance. Session will continue 2 more minutes. If those who completed the attendance, giving the attendance, you may leave, please. Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you all. Thank you all coaches. With this, I'm ending the session. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow evening. Sports and session is also going on 5 to 6. You watch that section also. I will circulate that ID in WhatsApp groups. Thank you. I'm ending this meeting. Thank you. Thank you all.